Today we are going to talk about Princess Easy Air. A lot of the things that we've got to talk about carry over to the other cruise lines air service, but we've got, I want to let you know a little bit about how it works, and then also some things that I have come to realize just even in the last day or two that are factors that would maybe affect whether or not you want to book through Princess Easy Air, through another cruise line's air service, or if you want to consider maybe booking on your own. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips, and today, as you can see, we are still here on the Norwegian Breakaway as I make this video. This is Saturday, and tomorrow we are going to be disembarking, and so we're doing this video for you tomorrow, so keep in mind that I just did it today for you. But there are a few things that have come up in our schedule this week that made me realize that there are way more things to think about when you're choosing how you're going to book your tickets than we ever probably imagined. So first of all, let me tell you, Princess Easy Air is Princess's air service. The major cruise lines and some of even the smaller ones will offer the perk that if you want to, you can book your flights with them, and often it will save some money. The cruise lines pull together all of their airline bookings that they make, and often they are able to pull a better price for you for going to a lot of the destinations that they go. It happens to be that Carnival Corporation is the largest purchaser of plane tickets in the whole world. Did you know that? Between the passengers that they fly around on their different cruise lines, along with the huge number of crew that they are constantly having come to their ships and sending home and all of this, they are the largest. And so with that, they are able to have contracts with the airlines to get better pricing on tickets. So sometimes when you go to book your plane ticket to get to your cruise destination, to the port that you're going to be embarking from, they will have a better rate. Now, when it comes recently with, the plane tickets have just been crazy expensive lately with everything that's been going on with fuel and everything else in the economy. I have not noticed, me personally, on the cruises that we have booked, a big difference between what the cruise line can offer and what we can book on our own. If you are new around here, I'm quite loyal to Delta Airlines. I have a lot of status with them, and when I fly by myself, I usually get upgraded, as well as I don't have to pay for luggage, and I get a higher weight limit on my luggage. And for most seats, I don't have to pay extra either. And so that's very nice. Well, like first class, and so, if you're booking a first class ticket, it's going to cost more. Yes, but to have a good seat on the airplane, I don't have to pay extra. So that is just something that comes with flying on someone a lot. And they go to the places I want to go. Our oldest son lives in Boston. There's a nonstop from Salt Lake City to Boston. So there's reasons that we fly with them a lot. But anyway, when you choose to go ahead and book a flight with a cruise line on Princess, and I know on Celebrity and Holland America, you can choose which airline you want to go on. And as you do that, you can choose which airline you want to go on, and you look down a list of itineraries and you can sort out which one you want. So they'll have everything from different airlines with lots of stops, clear down to the routes that they do, that any of the airlines have a nonstop. That's also usually offered, and there are different prices for everyone. So you can just decide how much you want to pay and choose your airline that you want to go on. However, right when you sign in to Princess Easy Air, it says that flights and airlines can change without notice. So I think we have enough people here that I'm going to just briefly recap, and if you're interested in the whole big story and how it all came, how everything happened, when we were just on a Mediterranean cruise last summer of 2022, we had a lot of trouble with our flights, and we had booked them very far in advance with Princess Easy Air. When we went, our tickets to return were not ticketed yet. In other words, Princess had not paid the airlines for our tickets yet. So we flew over on Delta with the flights that we had anticipated went super smooth. Partway through the cruise, Gordon was just logging in to look at our flights, make sure everything was going okay. On Delta, we have no flights to go home. So that made us look on Princess Easy Air, and they had changed us to flying home on American Airlines. If we were to have taken those flights on American Airlines, we would have paid, I don't remember, Lev, if it was like $900 difference. It was a big difference to pay to check our luggage to go home, and also booking at that last time any of the seats you had to pay for. So we would have been out all of that money. We tried to call Princess lots of times. We tried customer service. None of that ever worked. The day before we were to leave, we'd gotten off the ship, we were in Barcelona, and I decided to try Princess Easy Air one more time. And I got the nicest agent that when I told her what was going on, she said, yeah, I see why you would want that back. And in a very long conversation, she ended up giving back the flights that we had had. When we got home, we could see in our Delta account that Princess had paid like $3,700 for each one of us to get those flights to go back home. It would have been much cheaper if they would have bought those tickets when we had booked them and just taken care of it at that time. But since they hadn't ticketed it, I'm sure that they looked at that increased price and thought, oh, we can put them on American cheaper. And that's what they were trying to do. But thank heaven, literally, it was the hand of the Lord that this very nice lady put us back on the flights that we had originally arranged. However, moving forward, I don't know that you're going to have that opportunity so much. I think that really in the long run, with the situation where the cruise lines are with their finances, if you're in that position again, we are very likely to not get moved back to our initial tickets. So with that is the caveat that they can change anytime. So if you are looking at your tickets and you notice that they are ticketed, based on everything that I have read and everything that I know, that means they have paid the airlines for your tickets. And so you don't have to worry that they are going to switch airlines on you at the last minute unless something happens to that flight. In addition to that, once you've been ticketed, you can't make changes to those either. And so with Princess, you have two fare options. You can do the flexible or the restricted. Usually, restricted is cheaper, and once you do the restricted, you have to pay for it then, and then you cannot make any changes to your ticket. If you pick flexible, then you don't have to pay for it at that time. It's payment is due when final payment on your cruise is due, and then you can make changes up to 45 days before sailing if you want to, which is really handy. If the fare goes down, you can go ahead and lock in that cheaper fare just by calling or going online and choosing that. It is also nice that if you decide you want to stay an extra day in port, when you get off the cruise, or you decide you want to go even a few days early, you can go ahead and change your flights. That's no big deal. So that's a really nice thing about the flexible. We have a Let's Go family member that sent me an email, and they are booked on a cruise in May. They made final payment, and their tickets, she said that she chose flexible, are already e-ticketed. And so I don't know if Princess is ticketing a little bit earlier now, but once those are e-ticketed, I don't think you can make any changes to them. If anyone has had any success making any changes to them, let us know. I will let you know that no matter which cruise line it is that you're booking your air through, once they book that, you can log in to, like with us on Delta, we can log in and see those tickets, and we can make any changes that we want. If we want different seats, we can choose different seats. If we want to pay extra and upgrade to first class, we can do that. And so I just wanted to let you know that that is an option there. Now, as you choose, whether you choose to book that way or not, there's a few things that you should think about. And first of all, if you have a ticket booked with Princess and the airlines makes any changes to it, you know, sometimes they just change your departure time by 10 minutes, things like that. But sometimes they cancel your whole flight, or that flight is no longer available on that day, so you're having to scramble to get another ticket. In order to do that, you need to talk to Princess. So I have stored in my phone, and if you're going to sail on Princess or whatever cruise line you're going to sail on, you should have it in your phone. You call 1-800-545-0008 if you are traveling and your tickets get changed, or if it's the date that you travel or the day before that close, that's the number that you call to get help. Now, if you And that's for anything that you're going to have a new ticket for. And so you have to go through Princess to do that when you book with Princess Easy Air. So for the time being, after everything that we went through in the Mediterranean last summer, I'm just a little bit shy about booking with Princess Easy Air. Now, I had been on 14 cruises, Gordon had been on 13 cruises with Princess before then, and not had any trouble. I want to make that perfectly clear. But the trouble that we had was big enough that it just makes me worry about it a little bit. And so, and also for our tickets, our next Princess cruise in October, round trip out of Southampton there, we'll be flying into Heathrow. When we booked our plane tickets, they're a little bit cheaper than we could get through Princess Easy Air. So that was not a hard choice. Now, if they would have been substantially cheaper through Princess Easy Air, my guess is we would have booked them that way. I'm not positive though. I would have had to think about that. But anyway, those are some things that I want you to think about. A couple of other things that I want you to think about is that sometimes our plans change in life very unexpectedly. And so when we came on this cruise, we just booked our own flights. Sometimes Norwegian runs, like some of their promos make it so that they include the plane flights, or else, and then one person flies free. They do all sorts of different things. And with Norwegians, you have to be aware that you don't choose your airlines, you don't choose your flight times, you don't choose anything. They make the flight arrangements for you, and then that's what you have. And if you don't like them, at that point, you don't call Norwegian about them. Once they make your flights, they are yours. And so if you've got a flight booked that Norwegian booked, you then deal with the airlines. If you want a different flight, you call them and pay for any changes. If you want a different seat, same thing. You have to call the airlines. Norwegian doesn't do any of that. And so, heads up about that. So anyway, when we flew here, we were really pleased. Like, our plane tickets each were $300 and something each, round trip from Salt Lake, New Orleans. And then here's the thing though, that I am really grateful that we had booked our own tickets on short notice. Tomorrow Gordon's going to go home, and I am going to fly to Indiana where my mother is. Then I'm going to get her the next day and fly her to where my sisters and I live. And so in order to do that, it took with Delta, I had to cancel my ticket home, and then I had to buy, just on this short notice, a flight, and there are no direct flights to Indianapolis from New Orleans, so through Atlanta, and then the next day to fly home. It's terribly expensive buying tickets on that short notice, but it's very important that I do this, and so money's not an object. The thing that I want to tell you is so important though, is the half of the ticket that I didn't use, Delta did an e-credit, and then they applied it to the tickets that I was buying to do what I need to do. If I had just been booked with Norwegian, I think it would have been much harder to do that. And definitely, if I had booked with Princess Easy Air, the way that they manage it, I don't think I would have gotten my money back for the part of the ticket that I'm not using to go home. And I would like to say I get that. It's their job to support me on that ticket home. It's not their job to fly me around the country otherwise. I get that, but I just am really grateful that this time we had booked the way that we booked, so that we just didn't lose that money. And it was also really easy. I didn't have to call Princess or anyone else to try to do anything with that half of the ticket. And so as you kind of consider how you're going to book your flights, look at different things in your life. And if I know that we never expect an emergency, we just don't, but look in your life and see, I'll be more cautious now about booking with a cruise line, just with the situation the way it is for a little while now. And so I just wanted to put that out there for all of you to kind of think about those things, because if you've got someone at home that's maybe going to need you, that you're going to have to rearrange your flights when you get off the ship or anything like that, I think it's really important to kind of think about all of that and decide what you're going to do. Another thing that is really nice though, let me tell you, this other thing I don't want to forget to tell you about the Princess Easy Air, is if you have to cancel your flights, like if you have to cancel your cruise and it is in one of the reasons that your insurance will kick in and pay for it, these days usually the airlines will give you an e-credit if you're unable to take a flight, but if not, it's covered with your insurance, if you've got the insurance that covers the flights as well. So that's a really important thing. And if you have a cruise that is canceled by Princess and they're giving your money back for the cruise, they just give you the money back for the easier flights at the same time. You don't even have to deal separately with the cruise line, with the airline. So just kind of think about everything. If you have experiences to share with Princess Easier, we would love to hear about it, the good and the bad, and also any other things that you can think of that we need to think about when we're trying to decide how we are going to book our tickets. I think that that would be really valuable for everyone to put down below so that we can all share it. And I really appreciate those of you who make comments. It's really very valuable to our whole community here to think about things that each other thinks about and be aware of things that are going on so that we can make the best choice given what we have. So I hope that everyone here is doing well. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. We really need you with us. And if you appreciate these updates, please give this video a thumbs up. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.